the beautiful Miss Cebu 2011. And we're lucky today. You guys? Yeah. And with that performance, what a good start, yeah? Having spent a little bit of time in Honolulu, Hawaii, wow, I felt like I was in the island. That's really an island persona. Very nice. So, relax. We're going to go into a bit serious matter today, okay? Okay, with that, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Miss Rosemary Quinonola, do I pronounce that right? Thank you. The Provincial Director, DTI Cebu Provincial Office, Datuk Haji Daud Ahmad Zain, the CEO of the Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council, distinguished guests, fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of MPOC, I wish to extend a warm welcome to all our participants to the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil for the Philippine Market seminar today. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to host all of you. I would also like to convey my sincerest appreciation to the Department of Trade and Industry of Cebu Provincial Office. It is through our collaboration with them that enables this event to happen in the first place here. As what mentioned by Nia, it was done last year, but it's all through Zoom. So nice to see everybody here, and we are able to come here without quarantine and so on. Well, these events follow our successful palm oil trade fair and seminar POTS Philippines 2020. I see some of my colleagues, my palm oil industry players. Thank you so much for coming with us today as well. And that was held only like day before yesterday on the 17th. And we truly hope that the same welcoming and support felt there would echo in this province as well. I think the island guys are a bit more relaxed, yeah? We know that as much as Manila is the capital city of the nation, it is Cebu that is the heart of Philippines. Am I right? Much innovation and positive changes are most welcome here, I heard. And this is what is needed in order to get the acceptance of MSPO, our Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil. It is hoped that this palm oil promotion event will mark the first of many to come, inshallah. Prior to this talk, as I said, we did it online due to the pandemic. But even then, DTI Cebu has been so supportive in attending all our virtual talk on the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Scheme, MSPO. Ladies and gentlemen, the Malaysian palm oil industry is a key driver of our Malaysia's economy, providing billions in foreign exchange and employment to millions of people. Our industry started way back in 1917. So much has happened for the past 105 years, with so many milestones we have achieved. One particularly in which we take pride today is the establishment of the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Certification Scheme, or MSPO. The Malaysian government and palm oil industry are continuously striving to ensure that the successes we have achieved for the nation through this precious commodity that has brought positive impacts in terms of eradicating poverty, providing livelihood and better future, do not, however, come at a hefty price. We have been very proactive in ensuring that there is a balance between people, profit, and our planet. We need to live together for generations to come. So this perseverance in making it a win-win situation for all lead to the establishment of the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil MSPO certification scheme in 2015, which signals a long-term commitment of the government and the industry towards sustainability. MSPO is a national scheme in Malaysia for oil palm plantations, independent and organized small holdings, as well as palm oil processing facilities and all the industry players as a whole to be certified per the requirements of MSPO standards. I think you all have heard of RSPO. I believe we have actually gone into MSPO 2.0 and we keep on improving and the criteria incorporated. We hope that this scheme will be recognized worldwide, inshallah. This MSPO certification scheme has been made mandatory since 2020 to ensure management and production of sustainable Malaysian palm oil, which can be accepted by the international market. To promote MSPO globally, the Malaysian Palm Oil Council has been working so closely with our sister Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council, or MPOCC, to turn to our strong markets, as we know that getting the understanding and endorsement of our important buyers and consumers is the first crucial step in achieving acceptance and gaining credibility. We have held online talks, briefings, presentations, and meetings with government officials, associations, and organizations in many parts of the world, in China, in India, and the Asia Pacific, among others. And we are now taking the opportunities to ensure that MSPO is well promoted at all our seminars, forums, and exhibitions. The efforts taken in creating this awareness and increasing the understanding of the importance of MSPO, especially in meeting sustainability requirements, would eventually elevate its stature and give rise to its appreciation. This would ensure that MSPO certified products would be synonymous and with responsible and ethical production of palm oil. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end, I wish again to thank DTI Cebu for their immense support of this MSPO promotion program, and of course to all of you here today. You will hear many more speakers, and at the end, we're going to sit down, have a Q&A, and many of you who needs to know a little bit more. We have a panel of speakers who are all very well versed and qualified, and also I have my friends, the industry players from Malaysia, to answer any of your questions if need be. So it is hoped that this seminar will be a time well spent for you all, and the goodness of Malaysian palm oil is neither meant only for who that consume and use in their daily life, nor strictly for the prosperity of the nation, but instead, it goes further in contributing to the well-being of our planet for generations to come, inshallah. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Wan Aisha, for your...
A pleasant morning to everyone. First and foremost, we would like to welcome our Malaysian delegates to Cebu, particularly in Cebu City, which is also known as the Queen City of the South. Madam Wan Aisha Wan Hamid, Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, Datuk Haji Ahmad Singh, Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council. To our speakers, Mr. Muhammad Hafiz Abdul Rahman, Manager, Marketing and Market Development Division of the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, Ms. Rina Mariate Gustam, Regional Manager, Asia Pacific, Malaysian Palm Oil Council, Mr. Mod Hasbullah Soparyono, Senior Manager, Strategic Management Department, Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council, Mr. Juhari Minal, Regional Manager, Malaysian Palm Oil Board, other distinguished guests, our stakeholders, media partners, my DTI colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Maing Buntag. The Department of Trade and Industry is in the forefront in helping micro, small and medium industries, which we also refer to as MSMEs, in bridging them to opportunities by developing their products, services, and linking them to the market through the various MSME and industry development programs like the Industry Cluster Enhancement Program, Kapatid Mentor Me Program, and shared service facilities, among others. Today, we are fortunate to be joined by our international partner, the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, MPOC, to be able to share the objectives, principles, advantages, and role in meeting the sustainability requirements supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Also, to provide relevant information and awareness on the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil, or MSPO, which is the national scheme in Malaysia for all palm plantations, independent organized small holdings, and palm oil processing facilities to be certified against the requirements of the MSPO standards. To our Malaysian delegates, particularly from the Malaysian Palm Oil Council and from the Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council, we'd like to thank you for making us your partner in this event. And to all our participants today, we hope that this activity will be able to benefit you and your businesses as you take these steps towards sustainable development. It is indeed my honor to be part of this session, and with that, I would like to formally welcome you all to today's forum. Thank you, and good morning.
My God, with that beauty and the lengthy introduction, how can I not fall in love with this lovely place? A big hooray to all of you, first and foremost. My kakak in Bahasa Malaysia is Big Sister Wan. If I say her first name, definitely she will love me today. And my God, having listened to the second powerful lady, Rose May, Miss, how can I not fall in love with you? Why do I say this? You have the food that is consuming Cocos nucifera, which is coconut, and Elias genesis, which is palm oil. Do you know that the origin of coconut is in my humble island called Cocos Killing Island, somewhere in South Indian Ocean, nearest to Australia. But I think the scientific origin is humble India, somewhere in Kerala. And the palm oil originated from Western Central Africa. But today, Indonesia is number one, Malaysia is number two, Thailand is number three. The moment we have competition of 16 edible vegetable oil, my God, while you become famous, you have enemies. However, why do you have to fight your competitors? And why do you have to create enemies? This is my third visit to the beloved place Cebu. And I can tell you, madam, ladies and gentlemen, in Malaysia, there is also a place which we pronounce quickly Cebu. And that is basically the biggest size of oil palm planting in my beloved nation, Sarawak, land of the Dayak. And my second humble beginning is Sabah, which is basically the center of abaca planting 50 years ago by none others than the expert from Philippines. And I was so glad, and I prayed hard last night. I bumped into my classmate, Rolando Flores, in Manila, not by design, but because palm oil brought us again together in Manila. 1971, and he kept the picture, which is Abaca Secondary School. I need to share that wisdom. Why? This is the modern gadget that brings us together. Let's do it together. It takes two to tango. Combine Cocos nucifera and Elias genesis, the two powerful oil. And Mr. Blatten, can you please stand, sir? This is the president of the Biodiesel Malaysia, which is with us today. And he's a shy person, but he is one of the great leaders championing this industry. And I must say, Muhammad Hafiz, can you please stand, sir? I exchanged seats with him. He was basically the chief executive of MPOCC before he is shifted back to MPOC, where he was championing the marketing all over the world. Because, in my humble belief, we need youngsters like him. And where is Hasbullah? Don't hide behind that pillar. Come here. Hasbullah is a mixture of Sabah, and the father is from Javanese. That's why he has so many O's in his name. This father is Indonesian and the mother is from Sandakan, which is just 2 hours boat ride to Zamboanga and Davao. And Mahir from Johor, you come to the center. Why do I torture both of them, a male and a female, directly under me? If they don't perform, I will sack them. But I am not here to sack them. I'm championing youngsters so that the proper approach to competition is to entice the entire market, not plenty. It's estimated by United Nations 9 billion human beings plus about plus minus 200 of us today. And if you stop consuming edible oil and you stop taking your bath and use the sabun and also wipe your floor, my God, imagine this planet. And that is why, as a trained legal lawyer, I do not want to practice law. Then they asked me, even the Honorable Minister 2 days ago, Daud, why are you indulging in planting industry? Madam, I said, lawyer's pay is so small, but a planter's pay is humongous. And therefore, never underestimated the small planters. I inherited 60 acres of land in volcanic soil in Tawau. That is from my late father and mother. 6 of us went overseas. With the oil palm money, we can send our children to the best school in the world. But even with the best education, if they are dishonest, they will turn into devil. And this is where I want to educate all of you consumer. If you hate me, it is okay, but I will continue to produce palm oil. Why? The science evidence-based has been tested and empirically debated, and our biggest consumer outside there, they are mischievous. My God, we have been condemned and our product has been curtailed in Boston, Cincinnati, and also some port in United States of America. How can a small nation such as Malaysia fight the mighty economic power like USA? Therefore, the issue of forced labor and child labor was sensationalized, meaning to say, I need the beauty queen to champion oil palm. And that is why I believe the way forward, don't complex yourself. The modern gadget is here. I tease the dancer outside when I came down at 6 o'clock when they have not opened where I'm supposed to eat. I said, can we make love virtually through this machine? My God, 5 of them wanted my business card. And I told them I am married. I have 2 little girls, 1-year-old and 3 years old. Lady power is the way forward because they are the best consumer to tell us whether we consume beautiful oil, bad oil, etc., etc., etc. As a trade lawyer, because I'm allocated 15 minutes, this is the text which is official, no secrets. The data are there, Mahir is here, Bola is here, take it from there, and I have only 6 slides, but I only consume 1 slide. Effective communication is the way forward in order for people to love us. With that note, God bless Philippines, God bless Malaysia, God bless Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, a very good morning to our honorable guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my colleague from MPOC, MPOB, and some I think from our Malaysian delegates from FGB, I think, always supporting us wherever we go with MPOC and the government agencies. And then before I proceed with my presentation, I just want to see whether how many of you familiar with certification, management system certification or product certification related to food safety or ISO or halal certification? Maybe you can raise your hand if you're familiar, please. Right, so maybe not half of the participants maybe not familiar with certification, but it's okay. You just need to understand it is about giving assurance. Whatever you are buying, whatever you are selling is in compliance or adhere to the certain standards. So, but today I will more focus on MSPO certification scheme. So just to put things into perspective, certification is not new. Alright, certification is not new. In fact, it's already started since the 70s through the eco-label certification. This is we talk about globally. Alright, and then they are moving towards a timber and forest certification in the 1987. And then in the 1990s to 2000s, they're talking about food labeling and social responsibility. Alright, continue gain traction with consumers globally. So meaning there must be some barriers between the mature market and fast-growing market like in the ASEAN. So at those days, it is about a mature market like Japan, China, Australia, US, and EU. And you see, 2000 onwards, it became business as usual. People talking about sustainability certification, auditing, and traceability. They wanted to know, the consumer would like to know, where are you buying the source of your material? Is it have any negative impact to the environment? So stuff like that. But it is not really prominent in the ASEAN countries, to be exact, at that point of time. So in 2006, we have a voluntary certification scheme for palm oil established in Malaysia through the multi-stakeholders initiative driven by the consumers, retailers, and the industry. Now, I would like to focus a bit about the consumerism here in Malaysia, the Philippines. So this figure actually shows that there is a significant increase in the consciousness on the responsible sourcing, taking into consideration the environmental protection, social compliance or social security, human rights, so on and so forth. So nearly 200 countries have now ratified the Paris Agreement. I think we are familiar with it. This is, I think, most of the countries already committed. And then 78% of global investors saying that they place more emphasis on ESG, environmental, social, and governance. Now, than they did 5 years ago, meaning previously maybe very less, and now after 5 years, it's already 78% already aware on what they should do. So 65% believing that ESG will become standard practice over the next 5 years. 2022, then the next 5 years. Okay, what is the consumer expectation in the Philippines? So based on the survey, the consumer expect brand owners along with the government to lead the sustainability charge. So you can see here in the case of Philippines, 31% for product or brands and 34% for the government. And the situation is, I would say, is different from Malaysia. If you see Malaysia, the consumer expects the government to take charge or take the lead in sustainability initiative, whereas brands is around 24%. Now, how about consciousness on health and environmental protection? So the fast-growing Asia-Pacific markets have larger environmentally and socially conscious and health-conscious segment than mature markets. So you can see here mature markets like China, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and Australia, and you compare to Thailand, India, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam and Malaysia, you see the increasing larger environmentally and socially conscious consumer, meaning consumer have a little bit or at least some awareness on the importance of sustainability. So this is regarding the ESG concerns influence half of all consumer shopping behaviors in the Philippines. So maybe I can put one example. If I'm a consumer, I would like to see what is the action taken by the company, by the brand owner with regard to environmental, social, and governance. So if I want to buy, I want to make sure the company align or comply with any ESG requirement. So 38% of the consumer looking into environmental factors. That the company action against environmental factors. 52% is about the social factors, action of the company against the social factors, and then 56% looking into governance factors. So this is something I think most of the brand owners or maybe the company or products manufacturer need to reflect on their business strategy, for example, maybe for the next 5 or 10 years. Therefore, we are here to offer an alternative to certified sustainable palm oil. So MSPO, as mentioned by our MPOC CEO and my CEO, MSPO is a national scheme in Malaysia, and then it's a whole product, palm-based product, non-food, food, byproduct, and waste. So it's a set of standards for sustainable palm oil production and biomass chain of custody. So as mentioned earlier, it was made mandatory in Malaysia since January 2020, and then it's actually applicable, the standards applicable further downstream outside Malaysia. So this is, I think, important to address that MSPO is actually addressing the UN SDGs. So this is something that the agency, the ministry, and the federal government intend to do in alignment to achieve the whatever target that we set under the UN SDGs. For example, like improving agricultural and industrial practices, environmental protection, best practices, so on and so on. Now, MSPO scheme consists of, this is a bit technical, MSPO scheme consists of these three important components in order to be running with credibility. So we must have the MSPO standards, we must have the certification system, and accreditation program to ensure credibility. So we don't want to have something, people used to call it Mickey Mouse scheme, when it's just for fun and just for your own happiness, but it's rather to include our various stakeholders, local and international, in the development process of the standards as well as the certification scheme. On how are we going to govern the scheme? So meaning we're taking into consideration the NGOs, social, environmental NGOs, the government, the agencies, the industry, the smallholders. I think almost 40% of our total production is from smallholders. So this is very inclusive. And then we just revised our standards into MSPO Standards 2022, where we have available 7 auditable standards from Part 2 to Part 4. So each standard is actually designed for specific actors within the supply chain. So we have the standard for the smallholders, independent smallholders, we have the standards for the organized smallholders, we have the standard for the small and medium estate, we have the standard for the big plantation company, we have the standard for the palm oil mill, we have the standard for palm oil processing facilities, and finally, we have the standard for dealers, FMB dealers and any other dealers along the supply chain. So the intention is to make sure everyone have access to practice sustainability according to the certain standards. So that's our aim. So in the revised standard, we already revised our standard from 7 to 5 principles. So this is the 5 basic principles of MSPO that covering the management, commitment and responsibility, transparency, compliance to legal requirements, social responsibility, and number 5 is on environment. So you see, the structure of the standard itself is already aligned with the normal or the usual ESG as well as whatever government or international government aims to do with regard to sustainability or certification. Now, this is the important core improvement that we have made in our MSPO standards, especially in terms of environment. We already incorporated the high conservation value assessment, the greenhouse gas emission monitoring management assessment. Also, we already set the no deforestation and cut-off date, effective December 2019. So everything subject to HCV assessment, high conservation value assessment. And then on our social part, we introduced or incorporated the ILO forced labor indicators, ILO decent work agenda, triangular employment, anti-corruption, SIA, social impact assessment, and FPIC, free, prior, and informed consent. And finally, on the governance, we improved in terms of integrity and anti-corruption and mandatory corporate accountability. So this is the major improvement that we made in our standards, and we want to uplift our standard from the previous 2013 version into the 2022 version. Now, just to put things again into perspective, we have 97.71% certified planted areas, which come into 5.6 million hectares of plantation certified, including smallholders. And then we have certified 459 palm oil mills, is around 98.5%, and MSPO, CSPO, certified sustainable production from January to July 2022 is estimated at 9.7 million tons, and cumulatively, we are able to generate or produce 17 million MSPO, CSPO. So this will give assurance that we are able to provide a continuous MSPO, CSPO supply globally. So it's slightly different with my sister agency. They are looking into prospect demand, supply and demand of MSPO, and then we are more towards us transforming the whole palm oil supply chain into sustainability and certification. Now, this is the important element in certification where we need to have a traceability. So currently, we have MSPO Trace as our traceability platform to source, for you to know that what is the source of your palm oil material back to the country of origin. You see, I give you one sample. We have one company actually exporting to the Philippines with the MSPO logo. By using the certified MSPO logo, right, the company or the consumer or the buyer in the importing countries are able to locate the source of their material coming from the SOPB refinery. This is the Sarawak Oil Palm Berhad refinery in Sarawak, and then you are able to trace back all of the supplier of the certified material to the respective palm oil mills that are supplying to the refinery. So it provides the opportunity for you to demonstrate and also to ensure the supply can successfully manage plantation. Now, what is the benefit if you are supporting or buying MSPO certified palm oil? You are actually helping us in minimizing the effect of deforestation. You are appreciating, you are supporting us in our effort towards social compliance, human rights, so on and so forth. I would like to reiterate what the CEO of Mighty Earth has mentioned here. Although MSPO certification scheme is far from perfect, but it has been so successful in dropping deforestation from over 1 million to less than 250,000 acres per year. And this could be used as a blueprint for how to achieve the same in the Amazon. So this statement actually getting attention of our counterpart in the Philippines, I think from the Ministry of Agriculture. And I had a long meeting the day after the last 2 days with the Ministry of Agriculture, looking into exploring technical cooperation in terms of sustainability practices and certification. So for the company, if you can see here, sustainability marketed products grew 5.6 times faster than products not marketed as sustainable. So this also, I think, the companies or the brands need to consider if you are moving towards certification and sustainability. So you need to consider this as part of your strategy in your business. And of course, MSPO is an economical, reasonably priced and credible system. Usually, we have one project certification audit with China company. So the fee, we are using Malaysian ringgit instead of using euro or US dollar. So in terms of traceability, we have ready system for you, which is free for you as a user. And then of course, MSPO certification will give advantage in terms of image and reputation, where you are able to demonstrate responsible and sustainable sourcing and support conservation, as I mentioned earlier, of social compliance, and more importantly, to support the accessibility of smallholders to be part of the sustainability initiatives. So we are very free, very open. We don't have any membership fee. We don't fix any premium. We leave it to the business to business negotiation, willing buyer, willing seller. So we have continuous supply of certified sustainable palm oil. And then more importantly, we provide free technical support for the certification activities to the interested parties. So as a conclusion, MSPO is the way forward. I would humbly request for you to consider, to evaluate. I had a very good meeting with, I think, several companies in Manila. They don't know actually there is an alternative in the market. They're looking into something economical and credible. And I told them, please evaluate yourself, what you try to achieve, and if MSPO can offer something that what you are looking for, do your own evaluation, do your own due diligence, compare with other schemes, and please get back to us if you are interested. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much. Salamat po.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Madam Wan Aisyah Wan Hamid, Madam Rose, Datuk Daud, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Miss MC, for the kind introduction. All right. So only will take a few minutes to talk about the overview of oils and fats industry in the Philippines and also the growth potential of palm oil in this country. So this is the area that I will cover in this presentation. So we'll start with the key dynamics of Philippines market. The Philippines is the second. The Philippines is the second most populous countries in the ASEAN region, with the total population about 115 million in 2021, and the overall GDP value was at USD 394 billion, and the growth rate is about 5.7% in 2021. And as you can see from the pie chart, agriculture has a significant share in the overall GDP with the 9.6 from the total GDP value. The main agriculture product in export include coconut oil, other fresh fruit like pineapple, mangoes and bananas, while the main agriculture products import include palm oil, soybean oil, rapeseed and other related products. So the Philippines is one of the key trading partner in Malaysia in this region in terms of volume. It is the 15th largest trading partner in the world. The balance trade is tilted towards Malaysia, which is primarily due to the high import of palm oil in this country. So, if we look at the main importing region of the Malaysian palm oil, Asia Pacific has been the largest importing region for a while. And within Asia Pacific, Philippines is the second largest buyer of Malaysian palm oil after China. In 2021, Philippines imported about 580,000 metric tons of palm oil from Malaysia, which is actually about 40% of the total Malaysian palm oil export to the world. Now, let's take a look at the supply and demand situation of oils and fats in the Philippines. Okay, these slides give you the overview of the supply and demand in this country. The total consumption of the oils and fat is about approximately about 1.7 million metric ton, and then Philippines exports about 946,000 metric ton, mostly coconut oil, and import 1.4 million metric ton of oils and fats. The Philippines is the world's largest producer of coconut oil with a share of 41%, and more than 2/3 of this production is exported to different parts of the world. So the deficit of the oils and fats requirement in the country, which filled by the imports of palm oil. So, which is generally based on the import of palm oil in this country, generally based on the level of the local coconut oil production and other crops. So, if the palm oil is the highest, if we look at the total consumption pattern, palm oil is the highest consumed cooking oil in the Philippines with a share of about 77%. Okay, this slide already touched by my colleague about the import of oils and fats in the Philippines. The import varies between 1.2 to 1.4 million metric ton annually, and then based on the level of the local production and deficit in the requirement. So the red trend line shows the variation between imports and coconut oil production. Palm oil is the key component of the total imports of edible oil in 2021, and the total volume of palm oil was 1.2 million metric ton, which was about 85% from the total oils and fats import in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to share some of the growth potential of palm oil in the Philippines. So, here are the market drivers for the palm oil in this country. This country is set to experience rapid economic growth, which should lead to the better income for the people. So, secondly, growing middle class consumer in the country that leads to the change in their lifestyle, which also will spur the demand of palm oil. Rapid urbanization and urban migration will continue to drive the growth of the modern food services, food retail, and also food processing sector. And the next one is the rapid development in tourism, especially in island of Cebu. You can see which also will rise the hotel chains and restaurants, which will boost the demand of palm oil in this country. And then last but not least, a significant growth in the food industrial sector of palm oil and also in the food manufacturing sector. So because as the population continue to grow, so the low income earners who need affordable food, while also expected to experience the convenience of the food preparations. So food industry in the Philippines will need to look for the quality and economical ingredients to ensure the cost of the production is kept low to offer affordable food while maintaining good profit. So palm oil is the good solution for this one. So this chart shows the total size of the food sectors in terms of its revenue. The food market is estimated at 121 billion US dollar in 2022, and it's forecast about 177 billion by 2027, which the CAGR about 7.8%. And if we look closely at the sectors which use palm oil as the key ingredients, bread and cereal products, in convenient food, confectionery and snacks, spreads, sweeteners, and all showing significant increase in the past 10 years and forecast to grow further in the next 5 years. This trajectory of growth of this sector clearly shows potential. The food sector has growth in the palm oil and in various fractions. This also shows the consumer expenditure on F&B is another important insight, which shows the trend of the consumer in the Philippines spend on foods and beverages item. In 2021, the consumer expenditure for food and beverages in the Philippines was valued at over 107 billion US dollar, which was an increase of about 8% despite of the pandemic and the movement restriction due to the COVID-19. And then when we researching for the various segments of the food sector in the Philippines, we also come across research showing that the growth in the savory snacks market, this segment is actually currently valued about 664 million US dollar and is likely to double in size in just 5 years. So in 2026, the size of this billion is forecast to be 1.2 billion US dollar in Philippines. So this is another area where palm oil and its derivatives are used as key ingredient and demand as this likely to grow. So before I conclude in this presentation, I would like to draw your attention another trend which is being seen in all major markets, and the shift towards online food delivery. So you can notice that the trend of food delivery both by restaurant and also through apps was already increasing years before the COVID, but since 2020, the food space has just become hot. So you can see from the forecast value is about approximately $500 million US dollar in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from this slide, it shows that projected CAGR growth in the 4 key sectors in the Philippines, which are packed edible oil market, confectionery sector, packaged food, and food services. So all these sectors are going to register growth in the next 5 years, and that's a lot of opportunity for Malaysian palm oil and its finished product in this market. That's all about the numbers, and if you would like to know about the Malaysian palm oil and also the various application and qualities, then please visit us on our social medias. With that, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Ms.
It was in 1992. nowadays there are younger people like Mr. Hafiz, Mr. Abdullah, so I cannot be Mr. Malaysia once again. Mr. Nazri. So I'm just happy being Mr. Palm Oil. So bear with me for the next few minutes. I'm going to talk about superiority of palm oil in frying and other applications. There is not a propaganda. I am going to talk facts about the superiority of palm oil in frying and other applications. So this is just what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going through this one. Have you been to any of the plantation? No. Have you seen any oil palm tree here? None of you has seen an oil palm tree. It is your own tree, basically. You have plantation in Mindanao. You are also a producer of palm oil, not only Malaysia. And in fact, you can also increase your production of palm oil in the future. According to our minister, we are willing to help the Philippines with the oil palm plantation over here. Okay, this is how it looks like, the plantation, and this is the fruit. We call it FFB, fresh fruit bunch. As you can see from here, one bunch is quite big. It is about 20 kilograms to 35 kilograms. The average size in Malaysia is about 20 kilograms. And there are about 1,500 fruitlets. Okay, this is the fruitlets of the bunch. As you can see from here, there is the cross section of the fruit. There are 3 layers there. The orange color, we call it mesocarp, or the flesh of the fruit. And then at the center, the black color, there is the shell. And then the center, the white color, is the kernel. So when we talk about palm oil, it comes from the mesocarp, the orange color. As you extract the oil from the mesocarp, you get the oil. As you can see from here, there are 2 colors. One is red and the other one is orange. The red one is in the liquid form. That is why it is red, and the yellow one is because it is solid. So palm oil, when you extract from the fruit, it is a semi-solid oil. It consists of liquid and solid fat. And from the kernel, you can see the white one at the center. So we crush the kernel and we extract the oil. It becomes crude palm kernel oil. So from one fruit, you have 2 types of oils. One is crude palm oil, the other one is crude palm kernel oil. And these 2 oils are very different in terms of their physical properties and also in terms of their chemical properties. So in the process, we do not mix them together. We extract one by one. First, we extract crude palm oil. Then only we extract palm kernel oil, so that they are not mixed together in the process of extraction. And from crude palm oil, we send to refineries, and in refineries, we refine the oil, because in crude palm oil, there's a lot of water, there is a lot of impurities, so we have to get rid of all these things. Once it is refined, we call it RBD palm oil, the refined, bleach and deodorized palm oil, and that is the color of RBD palm oil. And you can see there is a clear separation between liquid oil on the top and solid fat at the bottom. What we do with the process, we call it fractionation. Basically, it is a physical separation process. We split the 2 layers. The liquid one, we call it RBD palm oil, and the solid one, we call it RBD stearin. So now from one fruit, we have 2 types of oil, and from crude palm oil, we have 2 types of oil and fat. Once again, one is liquid, the other one is solid. So this is how we manipulate the physical properties of palm oil to produce many other products. So if you mix back palm oil and palm stearin, what are you going to get? Any idea? We get back palm oil, correct? It becomes palm oil once again. But let's say if I mix them with different proportion, let's say 90% palm stearin and 10% palm oil, what are you getting then? Or is a different kind of product? It is still palm oil, but the physical characteristic has changed. If you want to have more solid fat or harder fat, we put more stearin. If you want it more or softer product, we put more palm oil. So this is the principle. In practical, it is not that easy. So if you want to know in detail, then contact me later on. Okay? So by just blending palm oil and palm stearin, you can get various type of new palm products. Now, how about if you put another fat, for example, palm kernel oil, you create a different products, and these different products, you can change the proportion, and so many limitless amount of fat, new fat that you can produce from blending of this type of products. And you can also, instead of palm kernel oil, you can also add other types of oil. You can also add coconut oil, soybean oil, and so on, depending on the intended product that you want to produce. Okay? Are you clear right now? Okay, by just blending of palm oil and product, you can produce various type of margarine. This is basically consumer margarine, soft margarine that you use, you consume every morning with bread and so on. This is mainly the application of this type of margarine. Okay, and from the same blending, palm oil 100%, you can also use what we call industrial margarine. There are many types of industrial margarine. We have general purpose margarine. This is from the website of one of the biggest producer of palm oil in Malaysia. General purpose margarine. Pastry margarine is for us to make pastry products. And then we have cake margarine to make cake. You have cake over there. They use margarine. And then you have cream margarine. Some of the cake you have to put the cream outside to make it more delicious. So we call it cream margarine. So there are different formulation, and then you can produce different products. And then the other one is shortening. So there are differences between margarine and shortening. Shortening is basically 100% oils and fat. Margarine, we put 60% water. There is a 60% water, but although 60% water is inside margarine, margarine is usually more expensive than shortening. So if you want to sell water with high price, you make into margarine. Okay? Okay, this is basically 100% blend of palm oil products. We have vegetable shortening, different hardness. 39 and 42 is basically the melting point, or we can say it is the hardness of the oil, of the fat. And then 49, 52, which is harder for making different products. And then we have low fat. We also have multi-purpose vegetable fat. Okay, basically shortening are used to make this type of breads, various type of bread and also pastries. Some of the shortening we use to make cake, and also we use to make the cream outside. And then there are also what we call animal fat replacer. And before that, I just want to show you here. Yesterday, I visited a factory. Okay, I think you know Jack and Jill. Who doesn't know Jack Angel? This is one of the famous brand in the Philippines. All their fat products are from palm oil. They use palm oil. Okay, in this product, you see the cookies here. They use palm oil, and then in between, you can see the cream. This is also from palm oil. So without palm oil, you cannot make this type of product. Or maybe you can make, but it's more difficult. With palm oil, it is very easy. Animal fat replacer. In certain food product, they use tallow in the past. But tallow, people say it's not that healthy. You can change into palm oil, especially in the making of this burger patty. They put back tallow. But you can replace tallow with animal fat replacer, which is palm oil. So when you use animal fat replacer, the taste, everything is just similar with tallow. And then there is another one, dairy fat replacer. Basically, this fat you can use to replace any type of dairy fat. And it is used in the making of creamer. All the creamers that you use in the Philippines are basically made of palm oil. I just want to show you, these are some of the products comes from Jack Angel, the same factory. These are the creamers. All these are palm oil. Have you tried this creamer before? Non-dairy. It is very delicious. Okay, another product that you can use palm oil is what we call santan in our language. That is coconut milk. Who use coconut milk at the home? A lot of you. But coconut milk is expensive and also difficult to get. Even in Malaysia, we have to import coconut from Indonesia. We import quite a lot of coconut. And still not enough. So what we do, we make palm-based coconut milk. And this is the product. And of course, ice cream is basically initially made from dairy products. And we can replace the fat with palm oil. And different type of palm oil can be used to make ice cream for different purposes. For coating, for for the ice cream itself and so on. The dairy fat can also be used. Dairy fat replacer can be used to make cheese product. We call it analog cheese. If you go to if you buy pizza for example, you use mozzarella. Do you know that most of the mozzarella nowadays are made of palm oil? I mean, they use palm fat. Everywhere. In Malaysia, you go to Egypt, you go to Pakistan. I believe in the Philippines also, because you are not a dairy producer, you use analog cheese, basically mozzarella cheese in making pizza. This product is vanaspati. This is also made from palm oil, but this product is not popular in the Philippines, but you will find this product very popular in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and also in Middle East. They use this vanaspati for everything, for cooking, for making bread and so on, just like we use our oil. Okay? And then, who eat chocolate? Do you eat chocolate? Nowadays, most of the chocolates are made from palm oil because cacao, you call it cacao butter is expensive. So as an alternative, you can use palm oil. We call it CBS, cocoa butter substitute. We also produce another type. We call it CBR, cocoa butter replacer. Cocoa butter replacer is similar to cacao butter. So you can use in any proportion for cacao butter replacer. But This one we have to use to add another type of fat like LEP and so on with palm oil. But CBS is 100% from palm kernel oil. And then we have another type, we call it cacao butter extender. There are so many products that we can produce from palm oil. Okay, we can also make this chocolate separate. You know Nutella? Do you know Nutella? Yeah, Nutella, they use palm oil. And in fact, they use sustainable palm oil only. So only those companies that can produce sustainable palm oil, they can export or sell to the company, Ferrero. They make Nutella, and there are so many local brands of this type of spread as well. Okay? I think my time is limited. I'm not going to go through all the points here. Superiority of palm oil food products in terms of sustainability is already mentioned. In fact, just a conclusion on this palm oil used in food products. It is the solution for all your oil and fat problems. If you have problem with sustainability, choose palm oil. If you have problem in formulating your product, you go to palm oil, you find the solution. If you still cannot find the solution, you come to me. But I will charge you. Okay? Now, we talk about the superiority of palm oil in frying. In fact, the largest application of palm oil is in the frying industry. It is used in the industrial frying of potato chips, tortilla, corn chips, everything is fried in palm oil. Of course, in Malaysia also, I think, I'm not very sure in the Philippines, but at least in our own country and Indonesia, we use it as cooking oil. General purpose cooking oil, we just use palm oil. We don't even look at other oils and fat. Because palm oil is so good for frying. And I can say with certainty, most catering companies, fast food chain and so on, they use palm oil products. Even in the country that produce soybean oil, they still use palm oil for food services because it is the most convenient one, and then the affordability is there, the supply is stable, and so on. Oops. Okay, sorry. And in palm oil, you can have various types of cooking oil in the form of liquid, in the form of semi-solid, or fluidized shortening. We have also frying shortening. You can also blend palm oil with other oils and fat. You can blend palm oil with coconut oil if you want, but I don't recommend it. Yeah. But you can blend palm oil, for example, you want to have the taste of sesame oil, you blend with sesame oil. If you want to have the taste of groundnut oil, you can blend with groundnut oil. We also have a very nutritious palm oil, what we call it red palm oil. In this red palm oil, the carotene is intact. We don't destroy the carotene during the refining process. And then the amount of vitamin E is also still very high. So if you take this oil, it will maintain your good health. In the US, they use palm oil mixed with soybean oil to produce a very good product. They call it Smart Balance. And this product improves your cholesterol ratio. And they accept this one. It has become a hot selling product in the US. This formulation was produced by MSPO last time. It was patented in the US, but now the patent is already expired. You can produce this product in the Philippines if you want to, but the brand you cannot copy because the brand already registered in the US. You have to find other brands. Make your own brand, but the same formulation. Okay? For the catering industry, they use the packaging in tin, maybe 16 kilogram and so on. And in the industrial frying, I can say that, instant noodle, for example, all the instant noodle produced in the world, they use palm oil and palm olive. You just name any companies in Korea, in Malaysia, even in the US, they use palm oil for the frying of instant noodle. They don't use soybean oil because that oil is not suitable for frying of instant noodle. D is industrial frying, where you have to use the oil continuously, not 24 hours, for days. Sometimes they fry the product instant noodle for 1 month before they stop the production. So you need a very stable oil against oxidation. You cannot just use any type of oil. And they have a shelf life of at least 2 years. So no oil can achieve this shelf life of 2 years without adding antioxidants. But palm oil can do that. You don't have to put any synthetic antioxidant. You can use palm oil because palm oil itself has a natural antioxidant. Okay, I think you are familiar with this product, potato chips. This is Jack and Jill brand. Once again, they use palm oil for the frying process. And then this one, Nissin ramen noodle. This is basically a collaboration between Jack and Jill and Nissin of Japan. They use palm oil in the frying of this one. So I believe after listening to my presentation today, now you know that every day you consume palm oil, even without knowing, right? Yeah. Okay, this is another type of cooking oil that are used by restaurant and catering industry. And basically in restaurant, even, the very famous one like McDonald's, KFC, they use palm oil. For example, KFC, they use frying shortening for the main frying oil. And in Philippines, you have your own brand as well. I think you know this one, Jollibee. This is also one of the main users of palm oil. That is why, Philippines imports close to 1 million metric tons of palm oil a year. So a lot of restaurants use palm oil as the major frying oil. And the beautiful part of palm oil and why it is so stable against oxidation is because palm oil contains vitamin E. And it has different type of vitamin E compared to other oils and fat. We call it tocotrienols. The other vitamin E is tocopherols. This is common. You can find in peanut oil, corn oil, soybean oil, but you don't find tocotrienols in other oils except in palm oil. And tocotrienol is a very potent antioxidant compared to tocopherol. That is why even you fry in palm oil for a long time, it does not oxidize that much because tocotrienol will protect the oil from being oxidized. So this is the function of tocotrienol in frying. Of course, tocotrienol has also other functions in our health. And because of this, palm oil has a very strong inherent stability in terms of oxidation. I call it built-in stability against oxidation because you don't have to add synthetic antioxidant to palm oil. As you can see from here, this is induction period. Induction period is a test for you to know whether the oil is strong or not against oxidation. It is measured in hours. For palm oil, it has 27 hours. Palm oil, 25 hours. The other oils, you can see, for example, soybean oil only 5 hours. And you can also blend. If you want to use soybean oil, for example, I'm not an enemy of soybean oil. I eat a lot of soy-based products like tofu, tempeh. I like them. I like them very much. But the oil, I don't use much because the oil is not stable against oxidation. If you want to use it, you blend with palm oil, and it will increase the induction period and the stability. Okay? The conclusion is that palm oil is the only frying oil that you need. For frying, you don't have to look at other oils. You can read it by yourself. I think it's not necessary. You know, all the big companies are already convinced that palm oil is the best frying oil. That's why they use it in their production. We just need to follow them. They use palm oil. We also use palm oil because it is the best frying oil that you can have, and it is natural without antioxidant and so on. And with that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, good noon.
Thank you.
I'm John Carl E.L. Coseba from University of San Jose Recoletos. So my question is a two-part question. Since in 2020, the market of palm oil has been on an uptrend, promising. And in April 29, 2022, palm oil market has reached its highest peak. But it recently dropped starting in June 3. What was the reason for that? And when can we expect for the market to pass its highest peak?
Okay, if I understand your question correctly, the demand of palm oil has been high, then it has dipped a little bit. You know, during the pandemic, there was a lot of supply chain disruption, both ways. But as far as production is concerned as well, Malaysia experienced a drop from over 20 million metric ton of production due to the shortage of labor. We produced the last 2 years of about only 18.1 million metric ton. So the demand is there. I'm taking it a bit different slant from there because you think the shortage of oil and fats make it so, in a way, very low because of the Ukraine and Russia invasion. Therefore, the production has gone a little lower, the consumption is still remain, and the shortage of supply from Ukraine and Russia's side on sunflower oil. Therefore, the demand has increased very high, but coupled with some disruptions of the supply chain itself. So the dynamic, this is actually including all that, but the demand is high. That's why it pushes the price so very high in terms of oil. You see the volatility, we didn't really touch here. The price of oil has more than doubled what it used to be 2 years ago, or just 1 year ago. Since only last year, from a ringgit term of like hovering 2,000-3,000 ringgit, it has touched almost 9,000 ringgit equivalent. So today it has stabilized a little bit. So I'm not just really answering you directly, but because of the shortage of oil and fats in the world, the price, including soya bean and other rapeseed oil and palm oil, has gone up substantially, and that translates to the price of basic food has gone up more than 40% in terms of inflation. So I would like Rina to answer that a little bit pertaining to the demands of oil.
Yeah, true actually, because during the COVID, with 2020 to 2021, there is actually a supply disruption due to the labor shortage in Malaysia, and also following up to the Ukraine and Russia invasion. Most of the countries, imported countries of oils and fats, edible oils, they actually switch their buying from for example, because of the Ukraine and Russia is the main producer of the rapeseed oil. So that's why they now actually find a solution to find a palm oil, so that's why the demand palm oil high. And during the demand, okay, this is because of supply and demand. When your supply low but the demand high, it will actually push the price higher. That's why palm oil, you can see, is actually not the situation is not sustainable. But now the situation will maybe we'll back to the normal before the COVID-19 pandemic. And then also our neighbor Indonesia also banned their export ban of palm oil due to the food security in the country, because they want to secure the palm oil domestic for their cooking oil. And then that's why most of the importing player shift their buying previously from Indonesia and then now Malaysia. So it's actually temporary now. Maybe we'll get after this with the movement of the price, and then also the improvement of the production in the country. So the price will react to the supply and demand back. All right.
Okay, do you want to continue with your question?
That's all, Miss. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Okay, we have another one question from the audience as well. Please state your name and affiliation.
My name is May Perez from Carson Hills Agricultural Farm. So we know that palm oil is, the demand for palm oil is already big. From a farmer's standpoint, how large should a land be to be planted, to plant palm trees for it to be considered a sustainable income resource for a family and to support its farmhands also?
I would like the planters with 35 years of experience to answer you that. Dato?
A very valid questions. There is no magic formula in terms of size. But if you are in Malaysia, the regulations stated very clearly, if you are a small holdings, such as myself, even though I am educated and well versed, and I think, Alhamdulillah, I have enough saving, but by virtue of the land being 60 acres, I am categorized under small holdings by virtue of Malaysian Palm Oil Board Act 1998. That is the force of law. But the definition of small holdings in the world varies from countries to countries. For example, if it is in Indonesia, the definition is different. If it is in Colombia, also different. But what is important is the number of palm oil tree which is productive. The economic value of one single tree is 25 years and above. But geography makes the palm to grow very quickly in tropical countries, including Philippines. You have fantastic soil. Even if you have one single palm, which is a bit shorter, and then one was scolded by our European friend for using the word dwarf. So meaning to say, if in Sabah you use palm yang pendek, short, meaning to say vegetative growth is not as intense as, for example, in Borneo. The reason is natural. Rain provide water. Basically, the scientific part is moisture. If you have enough moisture and sunshine, my God, the rest is in you. And if you are as hardworking as me, your single palm will give you an average 9 bunches, average 20 kilogram. You multiply by that, and the fruitless, God has given us 2 types of oil, lauric and the crude palm oil, which is basically from the mesocarp. If you go to Africa, for example, the native uphold the natural tree in the jungle. And they go and climb and harvest the bark. So if you know the value of one single fruitless, imagine 1 hectare in Malaysia, 136 palm tree per hectare. And I can tell you, if it is productive, grown around your house, you will be reaping it for the rest of your entire life and your generation. But why do you think palm oil is the super and cost-effective edible oil? It can last actually many, many years. I imagine this. Where is that Zulkifli? Can you stand, sir? Zul, MTV. Oh, he is not persistent like us. He already cabut to makan. He must be very hungry. This company is already starting research and development to produce a shorter palm that can last for more than 30 years. I think science can help that. But Thailand have already done another extraordinary management policy. Instead of 136 pounds per hectare, they reduce it by expanding the distance between one point to other point. And what did they do? Is integrated farming. If you do that, God willing, and I can tell you scientifically done, they convert their rice paddy into oil palm and fishery. It can be done as long as you are planting oil palm to provide the economic prosperity forever and ever. That is, I think, my dream. But show me if there is a planter who still walk the field at the age of 100 years. A gentleman, an Indian blood, but a Malaysian national, Mr. Naden is still roaming around the farm at the age of 101 years. And he is a member of the Incorporated Society of Planters. My point is, what is the average age in Philippines, for example? Because your composition is similar to us. As long as it is productive, it gives the prosperity to the family. But I can assure you this, Hasbolas and also Hafiz Salai, the moment you cultivate with your family, our Westerners friend will use human rights issue, child labor. Whereas palm, if it is surrounded within the house, like Africa in Cameroon, for example, they go and harvest the natural growth which is in the jungle and they climb it. And that is how they value the fruitless, because the process of squeezing the mesocarp and knocking the shell is manually done under the house. What's wrong with that? That is their right to do that. And whereas Malaysia invented through the help of Western investment, our factory is, the components are not made in Malaysia, Zohari, isn't it? We imported from Europe. Just because we industrialize this industry, they become very angry with us. And that is why I think the discussion in Manila, when you politicize the process, it will affect your productivity. And imagine a fine gentleman like myself, I read law in England, but my village is in Tawau, which is still productive. And I think the first question the gentleman asked about the volatility of the prices. And I can assure you, you cannot control the market, but you can control yourself. Therefore, cost of production is within your reach. The other factors, in my view, whether the vagaries of the nature, can you control typhoon? No. Can you control water? Yes, irrigation. Can you control sunshine? I don't think so. But the temperature, to some extent, you can control, but there is no oil palm under greenhouse. So with that note, you control yourself what you desire and then manage it the best you can. Of course, legally. And I am very proud, a lot of the product in Philippines, a lot of halal. So why are we worried about? Because the consumers, which in, I think, Middle East country are much higher if you combine the entire 9 billion sample.
Since there is no ideal, the size of the land, I just like to follow up questions that how many years it will take to harvest palm oil trees?
Sir, through science, even at the age of 24 months, you already have a bunch that can produce oil. But because it is an industrial crop, there is a repercussion in terms of taxation. In Malaysia, for example. We take it as 36 months, meaning to say 3 years. Because if you put at 24, which is proven by science, imagine my 60 acres, how much tax can the government squeeze from us? So technically, if people said, what is the average time for planting, we use it at 36 months, but not 24 months, which is actual. Perhaps if you buy Yang Ngambi, which is a world-class planting material from FGV, planting it in somewhere in Mindanao, as long as you assure it, the safety and stability, I can assure you, average 28 months, it can bear fruits and you have oil.
One last question. My name is Edward Ligas from the media. We talk about the products, the quality, the market, and the demand, increasing demand globally in the future. But I would like to, this question is about from a stakeholder, the group who produced the product. How did the Malaysian Palm Oil Council help the small farmers accelerate their income and improve their lives? Thank you.
Okay, now I go to talk like a politician. In Malaysia, from the big boys, we squeeze through tax, and we call it through CESS. Every ton of palm oil process is 16 ringgit equivalent. And my body, MPOCC, is the least paid, 50 cents for my giving his gaji. I got no gaji, but her gaji is bigger than me. That's why I said bigger sister. So with that says, which is having the legal force.
I think that's not the question, is it?
Yes, it is also the answering
how
is,
the government,
if the government can do that, no need to repeat our mistake. You copy the good things from Malaysia. I'll be delighted, sir, if you invite me again officially. Otherwise, she doesn't give me money. So that is why I use the contention: love, ask, and thou shalt be given.
Okay. I think, as I mentioned earlier, about more than 100 years ago already, but the government is assisting smallholders. At the very initial stage of planting, we brought palm oil from Africa, but many things has actually evolved with that, like MPOB. We do genome sequencing to produce better seedling for better yield, and smallholders right from the very beginning. I have my friends from Felder here. The government opens up land for smallholders to come in and give them perhaps 5 acres each, and they plant, and later on the government create a scheme through Felder where they're managed by Felder, which is a government entity, RISDA, Felcra. So it is concerted effort by the government that has brought us today here. With that, along the way, we got huge plantations starting to come up. more privately or corporate plantation. Today, in terms of the production of 20 million metric ton potential, almost 40% is produced by smallholders. What Bull was talking about certification, so an average about 5 acres to as huge as what our friends here has is still considered small. But you have our friends here from Saimdabi Plantation, FGV, Felda, IOI, KLK Plantation, they're huge. And in fact, the holdings of plantation in Indonesia, almost 30-40% is still owned by Malaysian Plantation Corporation. So, okay, it's good for small and also an integrated. As you see just now, a lot of things and application, we can go upstream, the crude, midstream, all the other application like what Johari has mentioned, we can go downstream for all other beauty, health, your makeup, your skin care, and many, many more. I think our brothers here knows, in MPOB itself, we have about one side of it, more than 500 researchers. Of that, many PhD holders. They keep on inventing. So many of you here who like more specialty, fats combination, work with MPOB. We have gone to many countries from the beginning of this year. We have gone to the MENA region, the Middle East, and the Saudi. We have gone to North American region. There's so many, as you not used to, like Vanaspati application. So we are actually going, many of them wants a steady supply of oil. Inside here you have traders who buys oil to smaller people who use it for downstream. So there's so many opportunities. Rina talked about how big is the market. You look at confectionaries, you look at all those packed food. You imagine if just for Luzon and Visayas, now you have about 30 million. If it grows at that amount, you need a lot, and a lot of food manufacturing, packed convenience food. So as much as palm oil doesn't go up that much in terms of restrictions in a way of opening new land, like what Bull has mentioned, we talk about the effect of carbon dioxide emission, climate change, deforestation, NDPE, WRO, forced labor, all this has been levied at us. So the way that we are handling it, putting all the criteria for certification. We earlier actually had a very big seminar, which is called MAIASIS, Malaysian Agro Commodity Exhibition and Seminar. We have people from all over the world. In fact, we have about 31 countries participation. That was just a few months ago. So you see so many people are really interested. Because of the food shortage and supplies of the world, I think the food industry is where we should concentrate on to feed the world. So we talk about sustainability because you have the European countries, which is like more than 18 countries under the European Union. You got the Americans are so concerned about orangutan, concerned about elephants got no space, and we are deforesting. But if you are, some of you are with us in Manila recently, you should also consider in terms of the carbon emission and how much palm oil could be considered as a forest plant. So these are all the debates and these are all the things. So one of the ways is looking at MSPO certification. We would like to push MSPO. We hope that Philippines, this is number one country, town, that we start coming in to push for MSPO. So May, we are looking at you, Rose May, for actually supporting us as well. So that's a bit that I want to